So for special assessments, we do two types of special assessment searches. We do the ones that the municipality provides. So wherever your property is located, if that city or if that county has a special assessment that they can give us, like Pasco paving, we will always automatically do that request for you, whether you do a utility search or a full search. Those assessments will always be included. Tax assessments, those we will not always include automatically. And these are assessments that are listed in the non-ad valorem section of your tax bill. So if you look at the next slide, there's an example of one of those assessments. It is the water sewer impact fee. That is something that can be paid in full, or it can be paid every year on the taxes until it's completely paid off. Now, the reason we don't always include these in the lien search automatically is because we only do if your contract is requiring that to be paid off. So look at your contract, and if your contract states that that assessment or any special assessments need to be paid in full prior to closing, you need to let us know, and we will let you know if there are any tax assessments that can be paid in full. So had that water sewer fee not been on there and your contract required all assessments to be paid in full, you technically would not need anything for this one, because solid waste and stormwater is something that will always be on your taxes every year. So if you're ever unsure, just let us know and we can tell you if there are any assessments on your tax bill that can be paid off in full. But just like I said, if it's on your contract and it's required, let us know, because we won't automatically do these.
I think it's in paragraph 10 of the contract. It's that section, it's a paragraph where you can check one box and the seller has to pay it in full. If you check the other box, the seller pays during the time they owned it, and then the buyer pays after the closing.
Yeah, so just look at the contract and see what it's telling you to do, because we will not automatically order these for you.
Looks like we got a question that came in. So if you can you explain what the water sewer impact fee is? And it looks like they get a lot of kickback on this. Should the seller have to pay this in full? Looks like some people just don't see it as a special assessment. So is there any kind of brief description you can talk about the water sewer impact fee and what that potentially is?
So now counties are different. So for example, the water sewer impact fee can be like a loan for water sewer lines to be installed on the property. So some people pay these upfront right away, and then some people pay these off until it's paid off on their taxes.
Well, it's essentially a tax billed to new construction. It's an impact fee because of the impact of the new construction. They're going to need additional roads, additional sewers, additional schools, all sorts of things as the population grows. So Pasco has an impact fee. Most counties have an impact fee on new construction.
Thank you both. Hopefully that kind of helps when agents do see that fee on there. All right, let's jump to the next one.
Okay, so code and permits. So based on your as-is contract, the buyer is now responsible for paying any code and permit requests that they want done. And the seller no longer is required to pay any money to have the permits resolved, or it leaves the resolution up to the buyer. And that's just based on the contract.
That's in the as-is.
Yes, the as-is contract.
Yeah, the sale and purchase has a line in paragraph 9C. You can put an amount or 1.5% to close open permits.
And I just briefly want to go over some of what code issues are, permit issues. So a lot of the time you'll have the seller that's unaware that they do have any code or permit issues on their property, and they will give you some kickback as to why we're reporting these issues. So it can be anything as small as an overgrown yard to not having a pool properly fenced in. And then you can also have building permits, electrical permits, plumbing permits that just haven't passed final inspection. So a lot of the time they are unaware of those things. So which is why I always recommend you should probably do the full search on the property. And if you ever do get a report and it comes back and you do have any issues, do know that code issues, a lot of the times we'll get emails asking for a payoff on the code. Do know that until the property is brought to compliance, we cannot provide any kind of payoff. So once that property is taken care of, all the issues have been resolved, then you can let us know and we can give you a payoff for any code issues that were on the property.
Before I jump ahead, let me, we do have some questions kind of coming in. Let me see here, scroll up there. There's a couple of them, so we appreciate that. Let me just make sure I don't miss any. Okay, can't someone look up permits online? What are the benefits of ordering through a lien search company? So two-part question. So if I'm a real estate agent, can I just do it myself? But with that, you know, why is it beneficial to use a lien search company as, you know, network transaction solutions? So maybe a question both for Nancy and Jim, you know, maybe from your standpoint as well, from a legal standpoint. So.
Yeah, I can speak to that from a legal standpoint. First of all, you're not a lien searcher. You're a realtor. Don't undertake tasks that you're not specifically qualified to undertake. And by that, I mean, if you miss a lien, if you tell your buyer, oh, there are no unrecorded code open permits, and it turns out there are open permits, your E&O carrier is not going to provide coverage because that's outside of the scope of what you should be doing as a realtor. And there's no reason to incur that liability when, for a relatively small fee, a professional can search it. And if they miss it, their E&O carrier will cover the loss.
Yeah, and just to add on that, not every county lets you search it online. So some counties, even though that information is available online, you still have to contact direct individuals within those departments to get that information, because they will provide you the more accurate information than what you can just pull online, and not everybody is aware of that. So do know, just because it's available online doesn't necessarily mean that's the only outlet that department's going to use to look for it. They use the online tools, but then they also use other systems within their department to look for these items. So some of these, you actually have to go to an actual person in the code department or in the building department to find this information. So don't just always trust everything that's listed online for the property.
Thank you. We have a couple of other. Oh.
One final thing, also, a lot of the times you have to cross-reference with different, not counties, but municipalities. So if you now have a property that's incorporated but used to be unincorporated, you still have to cross-reference, and not everyone's aware of that.